Yo, it's boy Marcus from Western back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about the future of specialists in COD Mobile Black Ops 3 Edition. I've already done this for Black Ops 4, and this time we're going to be covering BO3, and then our next time we cover it to end the series off, I guess you could say, it would be Infinite Warfare. Those are the only three Call of Duties with specialists, so the only three options that COD Mobile can pull from unless they decide to create their own specialist. Right, and how specialists worked in all the console COD games is there's a character and the specialist goes with that character. For example, the Ruin guy in COD Mobile, his specialist on console is gravity spikes. Right, so that's the first one we'll talk about. Is Ruin goes with gravity spikes, which we already have, and then overdrive. So that's his passive specialist ability, which pretty much makes him move at like 3 times speed. He's insanely fast. Once you pop overdrive, you're not unkillable fast, but you are so fast to where everybody else is moving at like slow-mo. So that's the passive ability for that. Now, Outrider has the Sparrow. Same thing in Black Ops 4 when we talked about it there. But here in BO3, they had Vision Pulse as the secondary specialist ability. And that was essentially the best way I can describe it for anybody who never played BO3 multiplayer and use that would be to, if you know what a trip sensor is in COD Mobile where it lights them up red, imagine that, but you do it for everybody on the map and it pings them 3 times, right? So you'll light up everybody on the map in red and then it'll ping them once, and then you'll do it again. You can ping them a second time, and then you do it one more time, and you can do it 3 times, right? And that's how Vision Pulse worked. Now, in BO3, it may not have been that exact way. That was definitely how it worked in BO4. But they're basically the same thing. It gives you wall hacks, essentially, for you and your entire team. Next up, Prophet, right? And we already have the Prophet character and his specialist in-game. And that is the Tempest. And we do have the exact Tempest. We have the BO3 Tempest in COD Mobile. But his specialist, the secondary specialist, is Glitch. So what that does, I just got Kobe'd. Glitch essentially just moves you forward. Actually, it moves you backward in time to a place you more recently were. And we already have that in COD Mobile as Rewind in the BR mode, where you are right next to somebody and then you rewind back 25 feet away from them, right? So that's already kind of in the game, and we've seen that before. Battery has War Machine. So the battery operator uses War Machine, which we already have in the game. And then they also have Kinetic Armor, which we also already have in the game. So both battery specialists are in the game. So there's nothing new we could take from that in BO3 for a new specialist to come in the future. Next up, we have Seraph, which gives us the Annihilator. Everybody knows the Annihilator very well. And the secondary specialist to that is Combat Focus. So what Combat Focus does is when you hit your specialist button, instead of pulling out Annihilator, you would pull out Combat Focus. And that would basically give you 2 times points towards your streaks for that amount of time. So if you were going for nukes, people would always be running Combat Focus. That way they could get their advanced UAV quicker and then chain that so that they could get their next advance quicker. That way they could get the nuke easier. That's how it worked in that game. It wasn't called the Advance. I think it was called the Hater. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's called the Hater. Next up, we have the Nomad, which we already have in COD Mobile as a character that we can play with. But they have the Hive. So the Hive, as we already know, is the little balls of bees that you shoot around the map. You shoot 3 of them, and they're basically traps. Somebody runs into them and they die. Now, the secondary specialist to that was Rejack. So what Rejack did was basically pull you back to life, right? So you would die, and where you would die in place, you would wait. You get like a Rejack life, and then you would just come back to life. So let's say if they had specialists, if Rejack was in control right here, if I die to somebody right here, I have the ability, even though I don't have any more lives left for my team, I can come back to life with my Rejack ability, but it's going to be within about 5 seconds and right where I died at. So there's a good chance that he gets 2 kills on me. You know what I mean? So it has pros and cons. Reaper comes with the Scythe and Psychosis. Both of those are already in COD Mobile. Scythe is basically a death machine. It's the same thing. And Psychosis we have in BR, where you split up into 3 different people, and you got to figure out which one's the real one. You know what I mean? And technically you're 4 different people, because you become a Psychosis as well. So you have released the 3, and then you're one as well. So there's 4. Next up, we have Spectre, which gives us the Ripper and Active Camo Specialist. Ripper is the Shadow Blade, essentially. We already have that in COD Mobile. And Active Camo we already have in the BR edition of COD Mobile. So there's a chance that we see some of those ones that we have in BR and not multiplayer come to multiplayer as well. That would be very interesting. Firebreak, we have Purifier. We already know what Purifier is. We've had that since the game came out. Heatwave. Heatwave is the secondary specialist to Purifier. And what Heatwave does is actually pretty unique. So you could be in a gunfight with somebody and pop Heatwave mid-gunfight. What it's going to do is like turn their screen like an orange tint and make it very difficult for them to win that gunfight, because they're like blinded and stunned by the orange tint, and then they can't really shoot properly. But you only get one use. So it basically guarantees you a gunfight win. If you lose that gunfight, you should probably be mind blown, because they're going to have to like hip fire you or no scope you or like a shotgun you. You know what I mean? So it's very difficult to lose a gunfight when you have Heatwave somebody. Now that pretty much covers all the specialists from that game. I believe there was a guy in the black market store, like the black market salesman in BO3, that was, I believe, supposed to have his own specialist as well. And I don't think they ever came out with it. I think maybe that was after game leaks that they had planned that just never happened. But yeah, that covered all of the BO3 specialists. So the ones that we could look forward to seeing coming back to COD Mobile that would be brand new, nobody's ever seen before if you've never played console COD. Overdrive, which gives you super speed essentially. Vision Pulse, which gives you walls, basically gives you walls. Glitch, which is already in BR, so technically wouldn't really be the same. And then Combat Focus. Combat Focus will give you double points towards streaks for a limited time. And then Rejack, which would allow you to basically come back to life. And then Heatwave, which basically gives you a guaranteed gunfight win when you use it against somebody. All of these are pretty passive abilities, right? None of these are like a lethal ability where you're actually actively able to kill somebody with it. They're basically going to aid you in getting a kill or 2 kills or 3 kills or whatever the case may be. Aid you in getting streaks in some type of way. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I hope this sort of summarized some of the future specialists that we could see in this game that you might be interested in, you might not care about at all. I definitely think this game needs some more passive specialists. One of the big things about passive specialists like this, like Overdrive and Vision Pulse, Combat Focus, and Heatwave, they load faster than your normal specialists because they're not as effective in getting kills. So I think that would be super nice to have. I prefer passive specialists to lethal ones. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications if you want to. It's been your boy Marcus from Orsini. I'm out. Peace.